Hi, my name is Matt Gardner, and for my tech video I'll be talking about the Atom text editor. First I'll go into the history of Atom, and then talk about some of its key features. After that I'll talk about Atom's packages, and some of the more popular packages that people tend to use with Atom. I'll also talk about some keyboard shortcuts that you can use to speed up your development process.
So Atom is a text editor that was developed by GitHub back in 2014. It was written in CoffeeScript and less, and GitHub branded it sort of as the hackable text editor for the 21st century because it's completely open source and community built and run. Um, so one of the best parts about Atom is that it's completely free, unlike Sublime or other text editors. Sublime is its biggest competitor, and that was developed by John Skinner back in 2008. And it can be downloaded for free, but you must legally purchase it for $70 if you want to use it for continued use. So just a couple basic features in Atom. Example in Atom, one of the cool things you're able to do is you can have multiple cursors. So you just hold down Command and click wherever you need to, and you can get multiple cursors going. Another cool thing is it has tons of different settings that you can adjust. One here is you can show invisibles, and so that'll make sure that if when you're typing in different divs and you have different tabs going on, that they're all even, especially when you have really longer ones where it's kind of harder to tell if they're lined up. So another cool thing is they just have a bunch of different features. So for example, you can come here and we'll do Command Shift P. This will bring up Atom's feature search. So for example, if we wanted to make this text all uppercase, we could just go there and it just made it all uppercase there. And there's several other different features that Atom comes with. Okay, so now that we've gone through some of Atom's basic commands and features, let's talk about their themes. So you can customize Atom's appearance with thousands of different theme templates. So I'm currently using one dark, but they have a lot of built-in ones, or you can come here and find a different one that you'd like. So we can try this Nord Atom UI. You just come here to install themes and you just make sure you're there, and you can search for them, or you can just do the ones that are pulling up here. So we'll install that, and we'll also install the Nord Atom syntax, and so that's going to change the colors and styling of the actual text. So now that those are installed, let's come back over here to themes, and you can see that I have them installed here. These are all the ones I've installed, and then you'll change them up here. It's just in themes in your settings. So we'll come to Nord Atom. So just kind of made it a little bit more blue in the syntax theme. Okay. And so now everything kind of went from that darker and the brighter reds to more subtle blue and lighter colors. And we'll just change that back to the one dark. Yeah, so there's thousands of different themes that you can choose from, and just to find the one that you like best. All right, so now let's get into Atom's packages. So this is probably the best part of Atom. So when you initially install Atom, it doesn't come with a ton of features and a lot of built-in things initially. This is because the needs of a text editor can differ so much between each developer. So GitHub decided to use a package approach. So a package is basically a mini plugin that you can install to add in additional features and functionality. So there's thousands to choose from. Like I said, it's all open source, so this is community built. So you can download essentially any feature that you need for your text editor, and you can customize it completely to yourself. So I'll just go through a few packages that I've used and have found really useful. I'll also post in the comments all of the different packages and how you can get them. As well as the keyboard shortcuts that we'll go over so that you can reference those. So let's get started with that. Okay, so for this first package, I'll show you one called Highlight Selected. And I'll show you what that does here in just a second. So to install a package, you'll just come here in your settings, come to install, and make sure packages is selected, and we'll search for it. Just do highlight, see if it comes up. Okay, so it's the top one here. We'll install it. And then it should show up here in the packages tab, and it automatically enables it. Let's see if there's any settings that we have to enable. Okay. I think we should be good. So now let's see how it worked. So what this does is just so when you highlight, yeah, there you go. So when you highlight one of your words, it'll highlight all the other ones with the same syntax here. So for example, if I wanted to see all my spans, I just highlight one, and then it highlights all of them here. Or if you want to see everywhere where you used the class active, which looks like it's just right there. So that's a pretty useful one. All right, so another package that can be really helpful, let's see, it's called Atom Beautify. And so you'll go to that same place to install it, look for it there in the packages, then install it. I've already installed it, so it'll be up here in packages. So you can come here. So basically what Atom Beautify is going to do is sometimes when you, I'll give you an example here. So for example, if you were to go onto the internet and you looked up a way to do something and they just give you kind of a div of code. So let's say they gave you something like this that just had this div. Let's go to new file. Also down here is how you'll change what language you're in. It does usually pretty good at auto detecting it, but if it doesn't, you can just change it down here in this bottom corner. Set that to HTML. So say when you were to copy in a piece of code, lots of times it doesn't look good. Maybe it's all on one line. Maybe you have the end line that just goes crazy. It's over here. So what Atom Beautify will do is you can select your code, come up here to Packages, and do to the Atom Beautify and the Beautify. And so it just makes it look better. It'll take that kind of unformatted code and format it so it looks better. And there's a bunch of different languages that it works with. So if you come here to settings, you can see all the different languages that it supports. And then you can customize how you want that for each language. So for HTML, it has a bunch of options, so it makes sure that it will format that the way that you want it. Right now I'm just using the default settings. They seem to work pretty well. But like I said, there's tons of different languages that'll support, and it will format that code for you. Okay, so just to go over a few more packages. So these are ones that I've already installed, so you can just install them again by going to this install tab here. But one that I like is called file type icons. It doesn't do anything too useful, but it just puts little icons next to all your different files. You can see there's a little paint bucket for your CSS and this little index for your HTML, and there's a little JS for your JavaScript files. So just to put that there so you can easily identify them. Another one that's useful is this auto close HTML. So what it will do is basically it'll just simply when you're typing out a new div or something, it'll put on a closing div with it as well. So then from here, if you need a p tag, it puts on a closing p tag. So that one's called auto close HTML. We already went over Atom Beautify. We went over highlight selected. Pigments is another cool one. So if we were to come here, let's pull up our CSS file. If I wanted to add a color to this, and I did some hash, let's just do a white, it will actually come in there and show you the color of that. So that's just white, or we could do color blue. And it should just pull up a blue. Yeah, so we could do a random hex and see what it gives us. Like a red color. So that can just be useful so you can identify your hexes really easily and know exactly what color it's talking about. Let's see. So another cool one here is called HTML to CSS. What this one's going to do, so for example, we have our HTML file here with lots of different classes and IDs. And if you just wanted to quickly make kind of a CSS boilerplate for it, you would select all of it, and then a keyboard shortcut to just open up, to be able to find all your packages, you can do Cmd Shift P on a Mac. And this will pull up basically all of your features for Atom. And now these packages are in the features. So if we were to come here to HTML, to CSS generate here, click on that, and it's copied in there. We'll come here and copy that in. So basically what it did is it came in and took all of our classes and all of our IDs and made a little boilerplate for our CSS, so we don't have to type that. So then we can go through and add our CSS content. Okay, so now that we've gone over some of the packages, we'll finish up with just some basic Atom shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts, just to make the process go a little bit smoother. So some of the more useful ones, for example, Command comma is going to open up your settings file. So it's just a quick way to get to your settings and all your preferences. And these are all just the Mac shortcuts. I'll be posting the Windows shortcuts as well, just in a file with the video. Another useful shortcut is Command P is your file search, and so you can pull that up and just search for any file that you need to get to quickly. This is more useful if you have really long file trees. Another good shortcut that we already talked about is your Command Shift P, and this brings up all the features of Atom. And so with your packages or just any feature that you want to use, you can pull that up to activate it instead of trying to find it in the top menu. Another good one is if you need to duplicate the entire line, and you can do that with Command Shift D. You can see that I just added on another duplicate of that line. You can also change where your lines are at. So for example, if I wanted to move this div up, you do Command Control up arrow, Command Control down arrow. That moves those around the entire line. Another really useful one. So say with this span, if we meant all these spans to be headers or list items, we could just click on one and then do Cmd D, and that'll start to go through all of these spans, the next one available, and select all of them, which then I can delete them all and type in if it was a list or a header and get them all in one go. Another really useful one is for your comments. You can click on a line and just press Command question mark, and that will, that's Command slash, and that will comment out the entire line. It'll do it for whatever language you're in. So if we were to go to CSS folder, we can do the same thing, Command slash, and it comments that out. And so it knows which language you're in and knows what it needs for the comments. Those are just some basic keyboard shortcuts. There's a bunch of them that you can look up and figure out how to use, but those are just some of the more basic ones that you'll use quite often. So yeah, that is Atom in a nutshell.